Today our read was in Jeremiah chapter 10 through 13, and there was some really good takeaways. This was just a fascinating read today about some of the things that God told Jeremiah to do as far as hiding the belt, and um, he buries it, and then he goes back after it, and it's destroyed, and God uses that to just make this visual image of what he's going to do, and just some really neat things that come out of this. But first off, in chapter 10, verse 23, Jeremiah acknowledges something in this word that, uh, man, for some reason, it's the first time I've ever seen it before. And it was so cool to have this revelation this morning. But Jeremiah says, I know, O Lord, that a man's way is not in himself, nor is it in a man who walks to direct his steps. It was such a cool reminder that God directs our steps. God has a plan for us. God has made a path for us to be on. And a lot of times, um, God will even use people like Pharaoh, people like Pilate, uh, whole countries like he's fixing to use Assyria. But he's going to use, even though those are bad examples of, or good examples of bad people, God uses them in their badness and their evil to um, bring about his goodwill and his purpose. He'll use this evil nation of Assyria, who will just destroy with vengeance Israel and Judah and take them into captivity. But once God's done using them, he'll turn back to them and he'll say, yes, I was using you for my purpose, but you went too far and you were cruel to my people, so I'm going to punish you. But just the fact that God will use even a wicked person to bring about God's good, to bring about his own good, is just a cool thought. And then in verse 24, it says, correct me, O Lord, but with justice, not with your anger, or you will bring me to nothing. Jeremiah is saying, Lord, there's a difference between just your vengeance and your justice, which we can understand. In my personal life, there is a difference between being at work and bringing justice to a situation, and me and my selfishness bringing vengeance on a person who may have wronged me. So it's a great insight into God's system of justice, which from this appears to be like our system of justice, where there is um, a pre thought out system that if you're caught doing something wrong, there will be a set judgment or punishment for breaking that law or doing that sin. And that process will be started and finished. And in that process of justice, there's no room for vengeance. So when Jeremiah is praying here, he says, God, correct me. I know I've sinned. I know I've messed up. But do it with your justice, please. Don't do it with your vengeance, because in your vengeance, we're a breath of wind and we can just be totally destroyed. God is a God of justice, and it's hard to think of that. But in your prayer time, do you ever pray, Lord, bring justice upon me? Because we've all sinned, um, but to think that God would bring justice on us or vengeance on us, and we want His justice, is an incredible new thought, I guess, a new revelation. A lot of new revelations this morning. This was a really good read, like I said. And then jumping down to chapter 13, verses 9 through 10, a warning against pride. This is the example that I spoke of before I accidentally hit the stop button and had to restart the second video. But that visual that God gave Jeremiah of the belt was of Israel's pride. And it's a warning. It says, be careful of pride, because if I wrote it down here, basically, um, if you don't take care of your pride, God's going to take care of it. Okay, but it will be handled. Um, and when you read chapter 13, verses 9 and 10. Do not look at this idol worship and just disregard it, going, I don't have any little golden or silver idols in my house that I worship. Let me ask you this. You go to church on Sunday mornings? And if you don't because of work and whatnot, I get that. I've worked Sundays for years and not been able to go to church. But if you're off on Sundays, and instead of going to God's house and worshiping Him and learning about Him and building your relationship with Him, instead of doing that, you go play golf and you put that before all those important things, or you go fishing, or you go to some sporting venue, or you stay home and you watch sports because that's more important to you than learning about God or having a relationship with God, then that's an idol, plain and simple. Um, but again, great takeaways from today's read. Um, we're going to have the same great takeaways tomorrow. So read ahead, come back here, and let's discuss. Uh, just back and forth. You can email me at chuck@fcpo.org. And let's discuss some of these things. Tomorrow we're in Jeremiah 14, 15, and 16. So read ahead, come back here, and let's see what kind of law enforcement takeaway we can get. And in the meantime, you guys be safe.